What's going on, GOAT Format Duelists? I am excited today to bring you the video version of our Anti-Meta Warriors deck guide. This deck guide was originally written by Mascus, but I am ACP and I'm going to be presenting it here for you today. So what is Anti-Meta Warriors? And Anti-Meta Warriors is basically just, as the name implies, it plays 2 Reinforcement of the Army, always, and then it plays a bunch of different warrior monsters to get with it. So, it might be things like, Blade Knight or Mystic Swordsman level 2 for flip effects, or, Ninja Grandmaster Suzuki to hit a face-up defense monster, or, Exiled Force to just take care of anything. So, of course, this is an aggressive deck. It doesn't only play warrior monsters, but the warrior monsters kind of form the core of the deck. And the other unique thing about it is this deck is going to have a heavy trap lineup to back up those monsters. And that trap lineup's always going to have 3 Solemn Judgments at a minimum. It might also have, it's usually got things like Sakuretsu Armors, Dust Tornadoes, maybe even a compulsory evacuation device. Kind of depends on the exact build. And also worth noting, there is a special version of the deck that plays Gearfried the Iron Knight and Smoke Grenade of the Thief, but we're going to get into that later. So the Anti-Meta Warrior strategy is really just all about limiting the opponent's options through aggression. And they follow the basic mantra that there is no such thing as wrong threats, only wrong answers. So the deck is, always going to be attacking, and it uses these cards like King Tiger Wangu or Blade Knight or Abyss Soldier to deal with the opponent's monsters while also attacking for damage. So that, attacking for damage part is really key. And the deck's usually going to try to wrap up the game pretty quickly, typically by, first 10 turns or so. So let's get into the core interactions with the deck. They're pretty basic, and the ideal opening for this deck is to have some sort of threat. Could be anything, could be a King Tiger Wangu, or it could be, a Deity Assailant, or an Abyss Soldier, or a Blade Knight, and it's going to back up that threat with a bunch of those traps, those chops we just went over. Ideally, one of them is going to be a Solemn Judgment, take care of anything, Sakuretsu Armor to deal with an attacker, and, maybe a Dust Tornado to hit the opponent's Sakuretsu Armor in the end phase. So, the most fundamental and basic interaction is just reinforce the army to get whatever you need. So, the opponent's got a set monster. Okay, let's get Blade Knight or Mystic Swordsman level 2. Do they not have a monster in play at all? Okay, let's get Donzalug. Do they have, I don't know, maybe something like a Tribe Infecting Virus or a Breaker? Let's get Deity Assailant and attack over it for damage. And so on. So, pretty basic idea there. And, like I said, there's a cool version of this deck that plays Gearfried the Iron Knight, and then it plays, it kind of is sort of a hand control strategy. So it plays Smoke Grenade of the Thief. So you put the Smoke Grenade on your Gearfried, get any card that you want out of their hand, and then it also often plays Trap Dust Shoot. And if you want to be even more hardcore, you could play Mind Crush with it too, because, you can use Smoke Grenade to look at their hand and then Mind Crush to get another card, or Trap Dust Shoot to look at their hand and then Mind Crush to get another card. Last but not least, another key interaction with this deck is often, just Abyss Soldier with Sinister Serpent. This isn't the only deck that plays that interaction, but here it's pretty key because you really want to bounce those set monsters and attack for damage. Even better is having a Premature Burial to go with it, because then you can use Abyss Soldier to bounce the Premature Burial back to your hand, and then the monster that the Premature Burial got back will stay there. So it's like a free monster every turn. And note that if you're playing Sinister Serpent, that the deck's also going to want to play Sangan to search it out. So here's your basic Anti-Meta Warrior deck skeleton. You'll see here, not a lot's really set in stone. With monsters, we just got some staples. Traps, about what you'd expect. Spells, about what you'd expect. This deck it's pretty underexplored, I would say. Not a lot is really set in stone, so you can really make it your own here. But, if you want some ideas for what to play, here are some deck lists for you. So this one here is a deck list that was popularized by Calvin Tahan, and really what this is here is just a basic warrior toolbox deck. You see that we've got, one of all the warriors that we could possibly need. So that's, one Blade Knight, one Dongzalug, one, Ninja Grandmaster Suzuki. And then we've got, the 12 traps, that heavy trap lineup. And then, we got most of these staple spells there to go with it. The other way that you could potentially play this deck is to go the Gearfried route. So, here we got, the 3 Gearfrieds, the 3 smoke grenades, the 3 trap death shoots. And this list is choosing to play King Tiger Wangu, which stops a lot of good things. Stuff like, Metamorphosis for Thousand Eyes Restrict stops that. Tsukiyomi stops that. Scapegoat stops that. And then here it also looks like we've got Azura Priest to stop Scapegoat as well. So, these aren't the only ways you can play the deck. A lot of different strategies that you could potentially use, but I'll leave that to you guys to figure out what those could be. So, strengths and weaknesses of anti-meta warriors. The reason that a lot of people like it is that it's got a good game plan versus goat control and a pretty straightforward game plan versus goat control too. We're just going to attack them until they're dead, and they're going to sit there with a bunch of dead cards like Air Knight Parshath, Nobleman of Crossout, and Tsukiyomi. So if you're tired of losing to goat control and you don't know what to do, I would consider trying this deck out, see how it works for you. The other nice strength about anti-meta warriors, and I say this because combo decks are becoming a lot more popular in GOAT format, a lot more popular than they used to be at least, and this deck has got some good tools to deal with combo. Solemn Judgment, classic anti-combo card, stops whatever you need. The hand control with Dongzalug, also very good against combo, and Dust Shoot is good against some combo decks too, kind of depends on which one. So, things like, Empty Jar, Ben Kai, these cards are all really good against them. Reasoning Gate combo, it kind of depends. But, of course, if you want to be even more anti-combo, then you can always play the build with the Gearfried and the Smoke Grenade, because that'll just be all the hand control you need. So, big weakness of this deck is, it doesn't do very well against defense too much. So, if you attack into a set Gravekeeper Spine, they search another one. Now they got 2 walls you have to deal with. Legendary Jujutsu Master, kind of the same thing. Bottomless Trap Hole, another common side deck card that can be annoying against anti-meta warriors, because, if you're playing the Gearfried build and they bottomless your Gearfried, then you won't be able to put the Smoke Grenade on it. So, something to keep in mind when you're playing this deck. You've got to win early. This deck doesn't have a lot of good comeback potential, so you've got to watch out for those defensive options. So, common misconceptions about anti-meta warriors. There's really only one, and that's this confusion surrounding some people calling this deck Zoo, which, it's not really... it's not really a Zoo deck because the deck doesn't really play any beast monsters. It plays like maybe 1 to 3, sometimes 0. So, when people talk about Zoo, that really is meant to refer to a deck that plays, more dedicated beast lineup, like Enraged Battle Ox, 3 Berserk Gorillas, sometimes Bazoo the Soul Eater and Giant Rat, and so on. So, if you want to play a Beast deck or a Zoo deck, we have a guide to that on goatformat.com too, but that's not the same as anti-meta warriors. Alright, so that wraps it up. Hi, I just wanted to thank you for supporting the GOAT Format community by watching this video. The GOAT Format community is a small but growing community, and we need help from people like you to help spread the word. So before you go, I just want to tell you about our Discord server. Discord is a chat app available on every platform, and our hardworking staff at goatformat.com runs the only Discord server that's specifically dedicated to GOAT Format. So, if you're looking to get better at the format and make some new friends, we've got lots of people here who will help you out. Or if you just want to show off your skills, we also have a ranked ladder where you can keep track of your wins and losses. The link to join our Discord server is in the description of this video. I'll see you there.